We can't stop thinking about the Warriors and sort of how this impacts them from a macro level and who deserves the blame if the Warriors go out in this series.
Well, first of all, the Lakers screwed up the script last night. You know, yeah. NBA is written in advance. Nobody had Lonnie Walker the fourth coming in and scoring 15 in the fourth quarter. Yeah. I assume Lonnie Walker the third is very proud. Yeah. Actually, I know nothing about it. I just love that
raised by his dad, single dad, raised Lonnie the Walker in Reading, Pennsylvania.
So, yeah, nobody had that. I mean, this was a game that the Warriors were supposed to win because the foul differential wasn't as bad as it normally had been. They were up for a big chunk of the game. They were going to put it away in the third quarter. Like, isn't that their quarter, the third quarter?
Yep.
And then they just screwed up. And I don't know why. I think I was watching the game and I said to myself, you know, Steve Kerr doesn't know where to turn. He just does not have the bodies. They have made so many mistakes building this team in the last couple of years. I know they won a title last year, but feels like they blew an opportunity to really keep it going to me.
Okay, I see where you want to look at the front office, and you can say the James Wiseman pick was bad. You want to say, man, should they have not handed Jordan Poole $123 million over 4 years? I mean,
yeah.
Considering he played 10 minutes last night and went, 0 for 4, had turnovers, and then he got yanked out of the game, it's not looking that good. But how can I dump on the Warriors front office when they won a title last year? Like, it worked. You know, Steph is 35 years old, and with Clay and Draymond not being their old selves, like, they're still effective players. They can have nights like Clay in, what was that, game 2, had 30 points, 11 for 18 shooting. He went 8 for 11 from 3. Draymond can still play good defense. He can affect the game. But these guys aren't what they were. I mean, we all know that. Wiggins had a really weird season where he was away from the team a lot. And Poole has been a disaster in the postseason. But, like, you got him not just for now. You've signed him to, like, a longish term deal.
Yeah, no. Are you defending the Warriors front office?
I am defending the Warriors front office.
No. Or are you just listing their mistakes? I'm confused here.
No, I'm acknowledging that it hasn't gone perfectly this year.
What has gone right? What's the one thing that they've done right except drafting Steph Curry in 2009? It feels like that's what they're hanging their hat on. Well, I watched last night. There's one good player on that team.
They lured Kevin Durant. I mean, that was really Draymond, actually, not even the front office.
You're right.
The Hamptons 5.
They did do the KD move, but... Okay, but generally...
They've won 4 titles, and they won last year. Wiggins, that was inspired when it happened.
Yeah.
He's, off of a weird year. And Jordan Poole had multiple 20-point performances last year in the playoffs. He's just having a weird year. I don't know if you trace this all the way back to the Draymond punch or not, but, I mean, the guy's had a bad series. I can't sugarcoat it, but that wasn't necessarily a bad contract.
But he had a career high. I don't think the Draymond punch hit it because he had a great regular season. Well, not a great, but he scored over 20 points a game for the first time in his career. I don't think it killed him. Something is wrong with his confidence now. Maybe it does go back to the punch. But regardless... all these guys you're describing are planets that go around the Steph Curry sun, and it's not that hard to get guys who could win around Steph Curry, who's arguably the best player in the league. Now they just don't have anybody. Look at last offseason.
Yeah.
They let Gary Payton go, and they brought in Dante DiVincenzo, who luckily hit some shots last night because it looked like he'd forgotten how to play basketball completely. But he's not doing the things they brought him in for. He can't get a loose ball. He's not playing great defense. Generally, he's been a huge disappointment. Then they had to trade James Wiseman to get Payton back.
Yeah.
And then last night, they didn't even play Payton in the fourth quarter when he could have stopped the unstoppable Lonnie Walker. So I just don't understand what they're doing. It feels like they're lost the last 3 years. Every move practically has backfired on them.
Yeah, but how can you say they're lost the last 3 years when they're the defending champs?
Because they were like the Lakers when they had a string of number 1 picks. The Lakers had Kareem, then they got Magic at number 1, then they got Worthy at number 1. The Warriors had every opportunity to keep this going. They got a number 2 pick they used on Wiseman, a number 7 pick that they used on Jonathan Kuminga. They were supposed to make these picks and keep it rolling. And they just, you know what, to be fair, those were not great drafts. They didn't have a lot of options.
Yeah.
But they kind of blew those picks. Kuminga didn't even get in last night, did he? Or at all.
Yeah.
He's in his second year. He was a number 7 pick. He should be contributing. So they've blown an opportunity. Then I don't understand the Poole contract.
Well, the Poole contract he had a great playoffs last year. He had a this was like the in-between. He was going to be the bridge guy, right? Who was going to help them get from one Warriors iteration of a dynasty, hopefully to the next iteration. And unfortunately, he's having a bad playoffs, but does this mean he's a terrible player?
Yes.
I don't think so.
I think you do not. First of all, I don't think you play him at all in Game 5.
Well, Game 5 is going to be interesting because
I think you give him 0.0 minutes.
Or flip side of that, you definitely play him in Game 5 because how motivated are the Lakers going to be in Game 5? Like, these guys are logging heavy minutes, and we saw in the first series against Memphis that the Lakers weren't exactly like chomping at the bit to close them out when they had a chance. You know, they were okay with letting the series go back to LA, and they won in 6, right? So I think that they might do the same thing. So in Game 5, if the Lakers put their foot off the gas because they're trying to conserve for Game 6 and win on their home floor, that's a chance for Poole to maybe get going.
Oh, gosh. First of all, this idea...
It makes you sick to your stomach.
No, this idea that we have to load manage within playoff series is so ridiculous.
I'm just going off what I've seen.
I totally agree with you. I do think that the Warriors have a great chance. They're 8.5-point favorites, right, to come back and win this game. So... I don't know.
The Lakers have not lost this playoffs at their home court.
I just think Jordan Poole cannot. First of all, if he's not scoring, what can he do to help your team? He's not a great defender.
No.
They really, I think they're getting out hustled by the Lakers, which is unusual for this team. I honestly would go to the end of the bench. Moody hit some shots. Give him all the minutes. And I don't quite understand what's going on with Looney. I understand they want to get the high pick and roll with Anthony Davis out of there, but I mean, Steve Kerr, who's this all-time coach, you can see his brain actively searching for answers. I think he almost wants to pull someone out of the crowd because the roster stinks right now.
Yeah, but to be fair, like, it shouldn't, you know?
Yeah, except the front office screwed up.
But is that the anomaly? Is that the front office actually were drafted? Well, besides Wiseman, I can't defend that. I'm not sure what's going on with Kuminga, but it's like, they actually have put together a good team around Curry. It's the players that are not executing.
Wait, I don't know. I think there's a reason. The Bucks were a championship level team. They didn't want DiVincenzo. So, and obviously they screwed up on Gary Payton. They let him out the door, then they brought him in. I don't know. Something feels off up there. And I understand, right? The GM might be leaving after Bob Myers.
Rumors that Bob Myers might be out the door.
Yeah, I just think I think it is over. This is it. Unless they win a title this year, this is their last chance because Draymond could be gone.
Yeah, Draymond's got a player option next year.
Steph and Clay probably stay next year, but how?
Clay's got another
Can they trade Poole for anything? Can they trade Wiggins for anything substantial?
I know, but here's the thing. Then you're asking for like a major rebuild in Steph Curry's 35 season. Like,
that'd be great, but you have nothing to rebuild with. That's the problem. You had your chance with these draft picks and you blew it.
No, but I don't think that they can start jettisoning off Poole and Wiggins.
Jettisoning off Poole for what? We could trade Stu Kovacs for Poole right now.
That's what I'm saying. You're not going to get a return here. No offense to. You're not going to get a return here for Jordan Poole. So it's not about like, oh, we need to trade everything out around Steph Curry and get a whole new cast of characters. There's not enough time for that.
They would love to do that. Well, they are definitely going to make every move they can. They are about 6 inches too short on average.
Well, the Draymond domino will be the first one because he's got to decide if he wants to opt in for one more year. And if he does, or if they work out some kind of contract extension. If not, then he's probably gone. And then the core isn't as precious there. Like, Klay Thompson's going to be making 30% of the salary cap next year. Like, it's wild.
Well, honestly, I don't think it matters if Draymond Green stays or goes. He could easily stay, too. They need to bring in 3 6'11" players. So this is embarrassing. What are they doing here? They have no big men, and they're getting destroyed.
Well, listen, the Lakers are just a bad matchup because this was always the thing that made the Warriors so unique was the death lineup when Draymond's playing the 5.
But they've always had big men. They've always had centers. The first run they had Bogut. They had JaVale McGee.
David West.
West was like 6'9", but
more of a power forward.
They clearly need some height
Festus Ezeli, I don't remember him.
They'll definitely go for height. So I guarantee you right now, regardless of what any of the big three do, they will bring in 2 or 3 centers.
I think the question is, whose fault is this? If the Warriors do lose this series, and listen, they're facing a lot here. Down 3-1. That was a great game last night. Terrible fourth quarter, though, for the Warriors. Just some mistakes. Like, they've had turnover problems and stuff in the past. They've always been able to overcome it. Not last night. 6 turnovers in the fourth quarter. Some bonehead decisions. I mean, and just some hurried shots from Curry at the end. Credit Anthony Davis, good defense.
All that being said, definitely has a not over feel to it. Wouldn't you say? Because of the fact that LeBron is going to pass out. He's so darn tired. You cannot keep playing LeBron 44 minutes a night and expect him to do this. Davis is way above his minute count. So if the Warriors do win this Game 5, it's 3-2, and you have a very tired Lakers team and a very tired Warriors team. Gives it a little bit of an anything can happen feel. I agree with you. I think the Lakers kill them in Game 6 like they did Memphis. But unless they win on Game 5, I do worry about LeBron's minutes. And my championship bet on the Lakers, I'm definitely worried about. LeBron he definitely doesn't look like himself.
Well, here's the thing, though. In the fourth quarter, he might have missed a shot or two. Like, he's still involved in everything. He's bringing the ball up the floor in the fourth quarter, which I think is smart for the Lakers. Like, he's still so involved in everything they're doing, even if he's not necessarily taking the shot, because clearly Lonnie Walker had the hot hand.
Don't you feel, though, that LeBron is disappearing at times? And I don't mean that as an insult. Like, he's just sort of standing to the side a lot more than you've ever seen LeBron. I don't know what his playoff average is. I assume this is down for him a little bit. Well,
I mean, there were moments, obviously, in yesterday's game where Steph Curry was on him. And he either was settling for fadeaway jumpers or, things like that, where it's like, you got Steph Curry on you. Like, take him.
Yeah.
You're LeBron James. Even if you're at 38, you're still LeBron.
I really wonder if that minute count is getting to him, because the Lakers do not feel comfortable when he's not on the court. So this year's postseason, he's averaging 22 points a game. He averaged 28 points a game during the season. So he's definitely deferring a little bit to Austin Reeves and
who was great yesterday.
Yeah, LeBron seems to really like Austin Reeves. You notice that? He's always kind of looking for him.
Well, because he's makes shots.
But the funny thing, too, Davis did nothing last night, really, in the second half at least. He was pretty good in the first.
So funny. We talked about how there can only be like two modes with Davis. Either he's like basically a world beater or he's totally invisible. I felt like last night, B+. Just solid.
Yeah.
Playing some good defense on Steph at the end when they got the switches on him. And just, he wasn't scoring a lot in the second half.
Yeah, I mean,
at all.
You weren't worried about him not being active in the second half? See, that worries me a little bit. If they get past the Warriors, they're going to face a team that actually has people who are over 6'10". Probably. I don't know. The Suns. I mean, I'm already advancing in my head. How is this Lakers team going to play the Warriors when somebody's is going to be as tall as Anthony Davis? But regardless, though, I think that I'll give him a solid B, but not a B+.
Listen, it goes to show he can have a middle-of-the-road game.
He can, but then you need Lonnie Walker to catch fire in the fourth quarter, and that's not what you want.
How about that?
So I think we both have to declare, is the Warriors dynasty over? Are we both on the idea that
I think we're both on the idea that it's declining. However, you and I disagree that this front office has been bad. Because how can they be when they're coming off of a title? That doesn't make sense to me at all. They were good enough to put together a team that went through the West last year and then beat the Celtics. How can I say that they were a bad front office?
Okay.
That's where you and I disagree.